When I first saw this painting at the Metropolitan Museum of Art, I was taken aback by its beauty, colors, and especially the storytelling in the scene, depicting two young teenagers on a lovely date. There was something in this painting that spoke to me, and it inspired me to make this video. Throughout history, love has always been a prevalent theme in art and literature. From Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet to Gustav Klimt's The Kiss, it seems like we humans can't help but express those special relationships we form with others. Today we're going to take a closer look at 3 special 19th century European paintings about love in the art. In doing so, we will discuss each painting individually, as well as the theme that ties them together. Going back to the painting from the beginning of the video, this is Springtime, an oil painting by Pierre-Auguste Cot that showcases his great technique and mastery of the academic style. Cot was educated under several significant artists of the time, including Romantic painter Leung and academic painters Alexandre Cabanel and William Bouguereau. When the painting was presented to the Paris Salon of 1873, it was met with critical acclaim and it became one of Cot's most famous pieces. It truly captures the spirit of youthful love, with coy expressions on the lovers' faces as they sit on a swing that seems to magically hang from thin air. The young woman's translucent white dress catches not only the sunlight, but also the eye's attention, as the audience follows the curves and diagonals of the couple's embrace. In Springtime, the styles and influences of many different artists and movements shine through. Cot's teachers also enjoyed making genre pieces with flirtatious undertones. Furthermore, Springtime hints at the previous Rococo style, with its playful subject matter while also drawing inspiration from Rubens with the twisting torso of the women. The painting as a whole is rendered to a detailed finish, down to the last blade of grass and wrinkle of cloth. What truly brings out the theme of love and eroticism in this painting are the subtleties. The young man's left foot is hooked behind his right leg, while the woman's legs are almost exactly mirroring his. Her arms are wrapped around his neck in a tight embrace, and their faces are just moments away from a kiss. Not only do these subtleties emphasize their youth, but it also emphasizes the subjects of sex and youthful love, considering the presentation of the piece in 19th century France. Our next piece is a watercolor painting by Simeon Solomon, named Sappho and Irina in a Garden at Mytilene. It depicts 2 women, Sappho and Irina, dressed in large, flowing gowns and seated on a stone bench in embrace. The composition leaves little else to be left in frame, highlighting the deeply personal moment being captured in the painting. Its lack of saturation overall also leaves the audience with a sense of nostalgia, remembering the time these lovers may have spent together. Sappho, depicted on the right side of the painting, was a distinguished poet who was born on the island of Lesbos in 612 BC. In fact, the term lesbian originates from Sappho and this island, where she wrote poems about her affection for women. The deer, poetry, and instrument that populate the remainder of this painting further define Sappho's identity. The woman on the left of the painting, Irina, was also an ancient Greek poet and possible companion of Sappho, although we now know she may not have lived on Lesbos. Similarly to Springtime, this painting depicts an intimate moment shared by 2 lovers. Sappho leans in for a hug and kiss as Irina holds her hand, while her loose dress exposes her chest and shoulders. A pair of doves nested above the pair are posed similarly, further signifying the love shared by Sappho and Irina. As was typical of the pre-Raphaelites, Solomon sought to create newer art that deviated from the style promoted by the art academies. The subject matter of this painting is also typical of the pre-Raphaelites, depicting fictional and historical figures in a convincing manner. Unfortunately, acts of homosexuality were illegal at the time, resulting in Solomon being arrested twice for public homosexual offenses with other men. Solomon's difficult life reflected his own personal journey of homosexual love, which he expressed through his art. From chalk and pencil sketches to watercolor paintings like this one, Solomon's artwork helps paint a picture of his tale of sexuality and self-discovery. Our third and final painting is the oil painting Pygmalion and Galatea by Leung Jerome. It is part of a series of sculptures and paintings on the same subject, based off of a mythological story from the poem Metamorphoses by Ovid. The tale in question tells the story of Pygmalion, a sculptor who wishes for a wife as beautiful as the ivory sculpture he had just carved. The goddess Venus then fulfills his wish by bringing his sculpture to life. The Pygmalion and Galatea paintings also have cameos in Jerome's other works, including the artist and his model, and working in marble. Similarly to Pierre-Auguste Comte's Springtime, Pygmalion and Galatea focuses the composition on the main couple, depicting them in a single harmonious curve that leads the eye to their shared kiss. Galatea's lower legs have not yet turned human yet, and Jerome creates a masterful gradation from warm skin to ivory white. There are several objects to note in the background, including a cupid firing a bow and arrow, 2 masks, various other statues, and a shield engraved with Medusa's face. Mythological and biblical couples have always been a prevalent subject in fine art, from Adam and Eve to Venus and Mars. These paintings may have different interpretations throughout the decades, but they often represent peace, happiness, and stability. Perhaps we see these famous couples as role models for our own relationships, or perhaps they are a fantasy we cannot reach. Why do all of these paintings resonate with us? Well, we might look at the similarities between the 3 paintings we discussed today: 2 lovers and 1 kiss. Through the ages and across the continents, the kiss has been known as a universal symbol of love. It is a gesture of interpersonal intimacy and trust, highlighting the deeply emotional and personal connection shared by 2 people. Although the pieces from today are not specifically categorized under Romanticism, they definitely share some common themes with the movement. Romanticism was about feeling and expression, and what better way to depict that than with an emotional moment shared by 2 lovers. Today, we have looked at 3 19th century paintings about love: Pierre-Auguste Comte's Springtime, Simeon Solomon's Sappho and Arena in a Garden at Mytilene, and Leung Jerome's Pygmalion and Galatea. Each painting has introduced a different perspective on love in fine art, and perhaps we can use these paintings, their histories, and their inspirations to provide better insight on love in our own lives and work towards loving each other and ourselves.